array was vaster in area than the gas giant planets that orbited beyond the project's sphere, encompassing this hot blue star, its radiant energy now almost blotted out. They were harvesting the star's energy, all of it. The clans were on the brink of war, once again. This time the engineer wasn't sure she could pull them back from the edge, but it didn't matter anymore. She was tired, beyond tired. How many years now? 516. But these were years measured as rotations of a planet around another star now distant in both space and time. Time itself seemed a quaint conception. To her reconstructed conscious streams of thought, a nanosecond could be stretched into an eternity, and an eternity could fit into the blink of an eye. Time was an emergent phenomenon of the underlying connectedness of everything in this universe, the engineer now understood. But only to observers within this universe. To observers without, it was absent, had no meaning, no direction, no substance. She was trapped within. The engineer focused on a stream of consciousness monitoring the qubits. One, and then the next. She opened the circuits to discover the spin of each, and they were all coming up the same. Each qubit was entangled with its pair at creation, unobserved, and sent off into space on tiny spacecraft, their cargo smaller than a microbe, their gossamer wings capturing the focused energy of each photonic array, sending them speeding away into the ether surrounding this blue star. This part of the project she had explained as a monitoring of local conditions, an experiment to verify that the laws of nature were unbending. For 100 years, the engineer had been sending out tiny explorers, each accelerating to within a whisker of the speed of light, the absolute speed limit. But light wasn't really the speed limit. Light just happened to travel at the speed of causality, the fastest speed at which one thing could affect another, measured in time or in space. And massless photons bumped up against the causal limit. No useful information could surpass this speed limit. And yet, the engineers suspected she had somehow. The fixed spin of each quantum-entangled qubit that the engineer observed matched the spin of another dispatched on one of the tiny spaceships. It was an effect that at first blush seemed to crush the speed of causality. But it didn't, because although it gave her instantaneous information about something arbitrarily far away, it was random, up or down. She shouldn't have been able to predict the outcome, and for the first few thousand, the results were soothingly random. Then began the streak, up, and up again. Parts of the sphere still remained random, but a wave front rushed toward her at the speed of causality. Only hours remained. She'd hidden the impending destruction from the Council, from the Galagat, from the Hardatis. The engineer hadn't cut this final communication channel. It was too risky, but she needed to focus. "Volix, if you will allow me." The time had come to disconnect the last of the arrays from their outward beaming of energy into the swarm and redirect the energy of this star inward. "I must excuse myself." The engineer politely but firmly closed the last of her connections to the clan's systems. The energy of the star pulsed through her extrasensory networks caressing it, channeling it into the purpose-built collector fabricated from the remnants of this star system's asteroid belts. Invisible lines of energy bent around the sphere of the project, funneling and amplifying into the true and final aim, a sheath of negative energy that would punch a hole through the very fabric of space itself. A wormhole. To answer the age-old question that had plagued the Unabridged race. Why is nobody else out there? In the 500-plus years that the Unabridged had been a spacefaring civilization, their informational network had grown to a sphere 100 light-years across, centered on the homeworld of Sud. Their tiny ships, propelled on beams of energy, had visited almost all the 10,000 stars within this expanding sphere of influence. Nearly 500 were stars.